Welcome to the weekend recap. It's simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and the websites by plebes or plebs. All right, we're going to the numbers. Let's take a look, people.
Number time.
Sponsored by Bitcoin 2022.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 704,438. The Bitcoin price, 54,730. Chain rewrite days, 848. Total public Lightning capacity. We are back over 3K, 3,012.45. Sats per dollar, 1,826, or Moscow time, 1826. And blocks to the halvening, 135,562. Nico, I saw in the comments that somebody wanted the story behind the Moscow time. Were we able to locate the tweet?
Yeah, so we weren't able to locate the tweet, but we'll kind of explain.
I'm going to try to find it again after.
We'll pop up an image, right? But I actually want to go over two comments from.
Oh, okay, cool.
From our fellow viewers. First one is from Brandon Schultz, and he says, please explain the Moscow time. So the Moscow time, kind of funny story. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, when he was essentially testifying in front of some type of government committee, when they were asking stuff, he had a block clock in the back, and at the time, right, it showed the sats per dollar, right, and the sats per dollar at that time of recording was 1952, right? So you have this blue checkmark journalist on Twitter that came up with this whole giant conspiracy theory, essentially saying that, look, Jack wasn't recording live, because the time was Russian time. He was actually, it wasn't a live recording. And of course, the people that knew what a block clock was, like, obviously knew, yeah, that was just the price, that was just the SAT to US dollar price. Right, so I'll pop up an image of what the actual thing that this, blue checkmark journalist was talking about. But what I find funny, though, is, again, like, it's the independent content creators like ourselves and many others on YouTube that are so strict with the sources. We always pull up our sources. We always have to report them. But it's the mainstream media that comes up with all these, essentially, these things, like these stories, and they provide absolutely no sources whatsoever, but they're okay to do it because they're part of the establishment, right? But then the independent content creators are held to such a high high standards, where if you don't provide sources, you apparently are misinformation. But when mainstream media does it, that's not misinformation. So, of course, the Bitcoin community kind of reacted in a trolling fashion and said the sats per dollar is now Moscow time, so it's kind of like an inside joke. So the next comment that I wanted to go over was by Joseph McCartney. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. He says, I know y'all don't like shitcoins, but is it bad to get a shitcoin and then use the profits from it to buy more Bitcoin? That's an excellent question. So here's the thing, right? Here's something that you need to understand about shitcoins. Shitcoins are designed, right, to take away your Bitcoin and enrich the devs and enrich the people that got into the pre-sale. And if you look at every single shitcoin, right, not the US dollar price, the Bitcoin price as it relates to said shitcoin, they all trend down. Right? What does that mean? That means that if you hold said shitcoin, you're actually losing value in Bitcoin over time. Every single one. This includes Cardano. This includes Ethereum. This includes all of the rest, right?
All of them.
So in the short term, right, it could outpace Bitcoin for a short period of time, like we saw with Solana. That shitcoin performed extremely well this year. But if you actually hold it, right, what you're going to see is you're much better off holding Bitcoin. Now, to address what he was, I think, referring to in terms of trading, here's the thing. This is why we don't agree with that on Simply Bitcoin. You are gambling. You don't know whether that price is going to go up or down, right? And that's high time preference mentality, right? Because if you have long time preference, you're not risking your precious Satoshis, you're the only asset on the face of the planet that has absolute scarcity, right? In hoping that you could, essentially make a little bit more Bitcoin. You are gambling. That is what you're doing. It's literally, that is exactly what you're doing. And we don't agree with that. There's plenty of other YouTube channels that will come up with thumbnails and stuff like that and tell you, listen, this is the next coin to 1000x. This is how you're going to become a millionaire. This is going to become whatever. They are lying to you for views and engagement. That is why we don't speculate on Simply Bitcoin. We don't tell you where the price is going to go. What we do tell you is buy some Bitcoin, opt out of the current financial system that is literally stealing from you if you're holding fiat, right? And empower yourself by taking Bitcoin into self-custody. And here's the thing. Number go up technology does its thing. Why? Because there's only, and there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and there's 7 or 8 billion people around the world, and they're all going to want a piece of that, right? So if you manage to get yourself 1 Bitcoin, you are now in the privileged elite group of 21 million people that could do that, right? So, and if you compare this to all the other shit coins, right? The problem with them is that they're highly centralized, right? So what does that mean? That means that there's a human being that's in charge of the monetary policy, right? If it's Ethereum, it's Vitalik. If it's Cardano, it's Charles Hodgkinson. If it's XRP, it's Brad Garlinghouse. All of them had a large pre-mine as well, right? So that means that they could change the rules and change the monetary policy of that said shitcoin to their advantage, right? And the difference with that is that with Bitcoin, it's rules without rulers. There is no said person that could change the monetary policy of Bitcoin. Every 4 years, there's a halving that causes a supply shock, and historically what you tend to see is about a year and a half after the halving, the price tends to go up, right? So when you put your value, your time, your energy into a shitcoin, what you're really investing in is a human being. When you're investing in Bitcoin, you're investing in a monetary network that's completely decentralized and is literally the most immutable censorship resistant currency that has ever existed, that has absolute scarcity. So if you choose to gamble, right, because you want to get more Bitcoin, go for it. We will never tell you what to do on Simply Bitcoin, but we do not recommend that because Phil and I have both experienced this, and we could tell you, Phil and I would have more Bitcoin today if we skipped the shitcoining altogether. So we're not telling you from a place of Bitcoin maxis, we're crazy, we have no idea what we're talking about. We're telling you from a place where we paid our price of tuition, right? And it costs us a lot of Bitcoin, and we recommend that you don't do the same. For at that one story that you heard of that guy that 100x their stuff, there's 1,000 other people that got completely wrecked. So if you choose to gamble, that's up to you. But understand something, that you're holding something that's going to lose value towards Bitcoin over time. Phil?
Yeah, I just want to, I mean, like that's a fantastic summary, right, of why not to shitcoin. Okay. And the other piece to this that we have to remember, okay, Bitcoin is unique because truly there was no expectation of value. Okay, it means that the medium in which Bitcoin was created was and is unique. Every single one of these shitcoins, every single one of these projects has an expectation of value. Okay, it's not an experiment to see whether it works or not. We already know that Bitcoin works, so that's actually all that's needed, and we could build on top of that. But instead, what they try to do is sell you the partnership parade and the BS tech narrative, right? Which is never ending because there will always be better tech, which means your shitcoin will always be defeated by the next better tech shitcoin. And then, of course, to your point, it's centralized. So we go back full circle. It's like, who cares? At the end of the day, there was an expectation for profit. And the majority of the time, believe it or not, a lot of these people, what they are doing is they are trading you a shitcoin for Bitcoin, okay? Or they're trading it for fiat. Like that is the end of the day. Like they are not, they're not looking at this as creating a better system, as storing your value, as possibly not being, as working towards not being a slave to the monetary policy. No, it's just a bag shilling competition. Like seriously, you got to see in some of these wrecked pleb Telegram groups, it's just one after another of another person that lost 5K, 10K. Yeah, how do I get this back? What do I do? I lost all my father's retirement. Like stuff like that, It's just disgusting.
It's absolutely, no, and I agree. And I think you made a really good point there, Phil. And if you guys, look, don't take our word for it. Don't trust, verify, right? If you look at CoinMarketCap and you look at the historic top 10 coins, right? From when Bitcoin was first created in 2009 all the way to 2021, you will see that the top 10 list changes every single year, right?
Yep.
And the old shit coins that had the best tech narrative at the time, over the years, another shit coin comes up and it has a better tech narrative, and that old shit coin just drops, right? And just disappears off the face of the planet. So again, look, if you choose to gamble your precious Bitcoin, right? That's up to you. What we recommend is stay humble, stack sats, mine fiat, meaning take your fiat that you earn from your job or your income, and you just put it into Bitcoin every single day, and you will see, you don't even need that big of an income. You will see that over time, you will, relative to your economic situation, you will dramatically increase your wealth over time, right? And again, this has to do with Bitcoin's absolute scarcity. Are you going to become a millionaire overnight? No, that's not how this works. It takes years. In our experience, it takes about 4 years. It takes one full halving cycle for you to even realize that you made a good idea opting out of the system and buying Bitcoin. And it takes about 8 years to really, really, really feel the true economic benefit of deciding to opt out of the legacy financial system through Bitcoin, right? So again, if you compare these to the shit coins, the reason that they're so enticing, right, is that their short-term volatility is really high. So a lot of people feel like they could time the market. The issue, though, is that you're dealing with insiders. You're dealing with people that got into the pre-sale, like was the case with Ethereum, right? Ethereum had a 70% pre-mine. They had a pre-sale to raise money for the project, right? So they sold it to investors before it got listed onto exchanges. And those investors, when it got listed onto the exchanges, right, they were buying Ethereum for a couple dollars each Ethereum. What they do is they start dumping it onto the market, right? With Bitcoin, it was completely different because of what Phil said. Bitcoin had a virgin birth. So when Satoshi created Bitcoin, he was mining it for an extended period of time, even knowing that Bitcoin had no value. So he was mining at a loss, right? Bitcoin was associated value over time, right? So when Satoshi created Bitcoin, there was no financial incentive because he never knew that this would become some type of a monetary network. It was an experiment. Every single Bitcoin that was born, every single shitcoin that was born since then, the founders and the developers know that it is going to be a monetary network. So there's a financial incentive there, right? That's the difference between Bitcoin and all the rest. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily Fail, sponsored by Pirate Hash. All right, everyone. This one, Bitcoin time. I think there's going to be eventually like a Bitcoin time derangement syndrome. Right now, there's Bitcoin derangement syndrome, right, where Bitcoin just all of a sudden, if you don't have proper handle on yourself, you kind of lose your mind. But I think that there's eventually going to be a time derangement syndrome because Bitcoin Meme Hub sent this. Tagged us probably like 2 weeks ago, and it feels like over a month. So like I was like sitting there looking through our fails, and I'm like, oh man, this just feels like forever ago. But no, it wasn't. It was actually September 28th, all right, which wasn't that long ago. So let's dive into some NFT failure, guys. Okay, I'm coming at this from the perspective of the 2017 ICO shitcoins. Okay, I want you guys to just have that. That's the frame I'm going in this with, right? And just pay attention to Pay attention to what he says. Anyway, so this is Yano. I'm sure somebody knows who he is. I don't. Building at Blockworks to help investors understand Bitcoin and shitcoins. Host of Empire Podcast. Okay, so I'm sure he shills a whole bunch of crap on that. Anyways, let's dive into this tweet storm, okay, that he put together, that Bitcoin Meme Hub tagged us in. So thank you, Bitcoin Meme Hub. Let's go. CryptoPunks will eventually trade for 10 million each. Here's why. I could just right-click this right now, Nico. Just right-click it right now. Boom. Oh, man. Did you just flex on us? Did you just flex on us with a printed JPEG? NFT flex.
I'm just going to keep showing this, right? Because, again, you could literally right-click, copy, save, and print the thing that this guy essentially is saying is going to be worth $10 million. And if you compare that to Bitcoin, try making a copy of a Bitcoin. Let me know how it goes. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so check this out, right? So look, he's equating NFTs to collector's items. Now, I'm not going to dive into every single one of these tweets, okay? I scrolled through them and there's specific ones I want to dive into. So here we go, okay? The value of a collector's item boils down to 4 traits: community, story and passion, ability to show off, and personal joy. I'm a collector. I'm a collector of Garbage Pail Kids and stuff like that. And believe me, there's nothing show-offy about those. Anyways. All right, let's get into it. Vinyl records, comic books, classic cars, trading cards, fine art. It's all the same. The stronger the sum of the traits, the more valuable the item. Now, I'm going to point out, he's pointing to a screenshot of one of these players is the Honus Wagner rookie card. Okay. Now, so for the people that know anything about baseball, you'll know that Honus Wagner wasn't really such a great baseball player in any way, shape, or form. You see, the whole the value proposition behind the Honus Wagner rookie card, okay, which is the one over here on the right, the whole value proposition behind it is its scarcity and its rarity. If I'm not mistaken, there are either 3 or 8 left in the whole world. Wayne Gretzky, I think, owns one of them. Anyways, okay.
And you can't, you can't make a physical copy of that said item.
No, you can't. No, you can't. So you see, there is unfortunately for the NFTers, there's a huge difference between these real world collectors items and the JPEGs that they're collecting hashes of. Anyways. All right. Community. Community is the most important aspect of all NFT projects. Indeed, community is very important. And let's just switch over for a second from this point over to the community. It's a tweet from Lori Voss. Not only did this guy steal 2.7 million, but even after he ran off with the money, people are still trading the NFTs, each of which pays the guy who stole the money a 4% royalty every time. They are paying their scammer even after he completed the scam. Ah, the community. So glad that they're behind us, right? As you hold worthless JPEGs. All right, so that article. The developer behind the NFT project Evil Ape suddenly disappeared along with its Twitter account, website, and 2.7 million. Ah, the community. Glad that somebody's there for us, huh? Cryptocurrencies are riddled with a dazzling array of scams. Shitcoins are riddled with a dazzling array of scams. Rug pulls. A term for when developers take the money and run are common, and NFTs or non-fungible tokens aren't immune to that old trick, as thousands of investors of a project called Evolved Apes found out on Friday. Evolved Apes is described on NFT marketplace OpenSea as a collection of 10,000 unique NFTs trapped inside a lawless land. They are fighting for survival. Only the strongest ape will prevail, it says, referring to the project's much-hyped fighting game, which hasn't materialized. But they rug pulled, so don't worry, they got paid. Anyways, week after the project launched, the anonymous developer known as Evil Ape, who promised that game vanished along with the project's official Twitter account and website, but they left traces behind on the blockchain that shows they siphoned 798 ETH, or $2.7 million, out of the project's funds in multiple transfers. The funds, derived from the initial public sale of NFTs and commissions on the secondary market, were meant for project-related expenses like marketing. Like it matters. Like, who cares what this was for? Anyways, back to this. That was the community. Let's keep going. The ability to show off. First thing someone does when they buy a punk is change their profile pic. Or as we showed you guys, Nico printed it and I made it my background one day. See? But we didn't, yeah, we just did it for fun. We didn't actually have to waste our money on that crap. So I don't know what these guys are talking about anyways. I don't know what they're showing off about. We showed off with their stuff for free. So anyways, we will soon live in a world with digital museums and smart frames in every home. Ah, yes, of course, the smart frame, because there's no way that you can have a picture in a smart frame without an NFT. It's just not going to be possible without that hash, okay? You'll use your museums and frames to show off your NFTs and digital art to your friends. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that wiener party, let me tell you. Anyways, here we go. This is the best part, Nico. You're going to appreciate this. Or you'll just print a picture of your punk for an extra hard flex. Right, Nico? Mm-hmm. Hey, just print a picture of it, man.
So goddamn stupid, dude.
It's okay, we're almost done. Hold on.
Someone actually paid for this. All I did was I copied, saved the image, and printed it from my printer for free. Anyways.
Okay, here, hold on. It gets better, right? Because remember, we're keeping in mind the 2017 ICOs, right? And there's something that happened back then, and this is going to relate to this. Here we go. Because that's what he's selling you. He's selling you the dream. Just wait until CryptoPunks are shown off in movies, TV shows, and video games. Larva Labs, creator of CryptoPunks, just signed with one of the largest talent agencies to bring punks to Hollywood. This is the first time that crypto-native IP enters mass media.
Could you right-click it? I want to print that. So we can show it off in tomorrow's show.
This, absolutely.
Save image. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
That's ours. That's ours.
It's ours now.
So just for a second before we continue, I want you to just switch over for a second, because back in 2017 there was a shitcoin. Okay, back in 2017 it was very popular to get famous people to shill your shitcoins. People like Ashton Kutcher, people like Banana Coin Cuban, right? They were shilling Unicoin gold. You get famous people to shill your crap. Well, Potcoin, right? That was going to be the currency for buying pot, because there's no way you could use anything else. Potcoin and its sponsorship of Dennis Rodman explained, right? So for the people who don't remember, you can go back and YouTube it if you want. Dennis Rodman was a shill for Potcoin, and that got a whole bunch of people to buy those bags, right? So let's go back to this. Just wait until CryptoPunks. So again, they're filling your head with dreams. Imagine what this could be worth when enough people see this. Yeah, anyways. All right, let me just continue so we can finish up with this garbage. Finally, one of the biggest drivers of punks is wealth. There's a lot of money being made in the world right now. Nice general statement like that. Some of it could be yours, right? Traditional financiers buy art. A Hockney piece sold for $90 million a few years ago. Crypto degens buy NFTs. So again, they're just creating the relation, right? We've got stars, we've got Hollywood, right? We've now shown you a picture of the most expensive rookie card in the world, right? This is huge freaking jerk fest. All right. Right now, the entire crypto market is roughly $2 trillion. Again, this is where they create this relationship to have, so that you'll have the idea that you could be making major money. Okay. So you think about something else and you go, oh my God, if I could just get a piece. All right. Crypto market is roughly $2 trillion. Bitcoin traded around 40K and ETH 3K. The relationship again, right? Wow. What could mine be worth? At these market caps, most punks sell for between 3 to 400K. Really? Anyways, aliens, zombies, and apes consistently sell for $1 million plus. All right, here we go. More puffery. When Bitcoin hits 200K, Balaji and Olaf Carlson, we estimate that more than 50% of the world's billionaires will come from crypto. That's a lot of new billionaires who owe their wealth to this new asset class. I bet they don't go buy that Hockney for 90 million. My bet is that they stick with digital native art that their entire community cares about, because we all know, we all know the deep sentiment that the ultra wealthy have for community, right? We know this deep sentiment, especially, if we're talking about the elites in the current fiat system, right? They love everyone, trying to protect you. So we know that when somebody becomes ultra wealthy, they're just thinking about everyone else. Like, these ridiculous assumptions that this person is making is completely insane. Anyways, crypto punks are the ultimate collector's item. As crypto becomes the largest asset class in the world, rare punks will become the Mona Lisa of our digital first world. This won't just happen for punks, by the way. Bored Apes, Autoglyphs, Fidenzas, Perfect Spectrum Squiggles will be the Monets, Van Goghs, and Picassos for the next 100 years. I don't think this person understands what it takes to actually make true art. I'm talking about when he is comparing these JPEGs, the 10 minutes that it takes to make a JPEG to the, in some cases, years that it takes to make a painting. I really don't think that this is going to be anything like that. I can understand that it'll be a craze. I can understand that people will get wrecked. I understand that a very small percentage of people will make some money, okay? But it's not everyone. And I just want to finish, okay, with one last piece to this. This is the best part. This is, to me, this is the typical shitcoin scammy, like pure shitcoin scamming. So what's the takeaway? Get involved. Buy an NFT. Which one? Whichever one looks best to you. That's it. Doesn't matter which one you buy. It's all crap. It's all JPEGs. You're paying for a unique hash. Anyone can take that JPEG and do whatever they want with it. You realize that they can take that JPEG and print it onto a high quality paper? And now all of a sudden, they just made something different out of your NFT. Which they can technically go and sell. Like this. Anyway, it's just nonsense, man.
We will do that. We will literally right click, save as, and print it on a high quality paper and show it to you guys, you know, so we can keep ridiculing these people, because at the end of the day, you know, this Yano guy and all these blue checks on Twitter that are, you know, promoting all this stuff, they have everything to gain and you have everything to lose, right? And what they're trying to do is trying to part you away from your Bitcoin. The couple shows I've shown you examples of what Getty Images, and for anyone who doesn't know what Getty Images is essentially when the Wall Street Journal, New York Times needs pictures of politicians, sports stars, whatever, they go to Getty Images, right? But you can't just copy, paste a Getty image because it has something called a watermark, right? So it will show Getty Images, right? It will have a little serial number on the bottom to make sure that if you do decide to right click save that Getty Images picture, right, it will show, you know, and they could potentially go after you legally, that you don't own the rights to that said picture because it has a goddamn watermark, right? These JPEGs, they don't have that, right? These JPEGs are just JPEGs, and you could literally right click save and print them. Now here's the thing, right? Because he's trying to associate NFTs with physical art. Try making a copy of the Mona Lisa, okay? You can't do it. Try making a copy of, you know, a piece of art by, or like a Picasso that died. You know, there is forgeries in art, but you take them to an appraiser and they do, like, you know, with the ultraviolet light and all that stuff to make sure that that piece of art is authentic, right? Again, with the baseball cards, you can't make a physical copy of a baseball card that was made 50 years ago. You'll be able to tell that it is a forgery. How could you tell that my right click save as print is a forgery of your NFT, right? Yes, you do own the actual hashes, right? But that doesn't mean that you actually own the image, right? And this is the scam. And like we've been saying, right, this is very similar to the ICO boom of 2017, where all these ICO, Lemonade coin was the best coin to buy lemonade with, pot coin was the best coin to buy marijuana with, right? And what happened? They all washed out. They all trended to zero as they relate to Bitcoin. This NFT craze is the ICO boom of this cycle. And again, anybody that goes this route is going to end up getting wrecked. Now, that doesn't mean that some people aren't going to make money. Look, in a casino, people always get lucky, right? But if you literally, all you have to do is just DCA, buy Bitcoin every day, hold it, right? opt out of the financial system, and you could avoid getting wrecked. And your wealth will actually, it's a deflationary currency, Bitcoin. It will actually increase in value over time, and it will increase in value over time faster the more fiat money printing is happening. And as we've shown you many times on this show, the politicians, the central bankers have absolutely lost total freaking control. So yeah, man, listen, if you want to gamble, we're never going to tell you what to do. Go right ahead, buy yourself a JPEG. But if you actually want to hold your value into something that can't be debased, something that can't be confiscated from you, buy yourself some Bitcoin. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review, sponsored by
Citadel 21. All right, everybody. So I tweeted this a couple days ago, right? But that's not what we're reviewing. We are reviewing this this meme from Stack and Relax, and I think it's from Family Guy. Bitcoin fiat shitcoins. Accurate. What the hell is this?
Very accurate.
A very, very funny meme. The next one is check this out. This is Tahini's Restaurants, and he's making fun of, Michael Burry, that is famous for The Big Short. And he's making fun, and he essentially claimed that, Bitcoin was going to crash, right? And so he says, so the laser eyes, PFF, are they all bots, sheeple, or a mixture of both, making fun of the Bitcoiners? And then he gets totally wrecked. And BTC Sessions puts a picture of Michael Burry and Christian Bale representing Michael Burry in the movie The Big Short. Absolutely epic meme, hilarious. And the last but not least, this is a response to Steve Hanke. Now, it's very interesting, Phil, because Steve Hanke has got it into the meme game. He's just not very good at it. And he says, his name is Bitcoin. Is he friendly? Sometimes, right? So, not that funny. Anyways, a pleb response. God damn it, Hanke. I'm not going to stop if you don't. And let's check it out. This is the meme for today. This is the headlining meme. And check it out. The economics professor. It's going to zero. Only tweets after Bitcoin is down 2%. What are the fundamentals? Calling Bitcoin a scam while teaching at a university that charges $65,000 a year in tuition. I'm educating. Protecting students from 100x gainers since 2012. It's so true. It's not a currency, only speculation. And here's the signal, ladies and gentlemen. Hasn't had a real job since the Clinton administration. So, traditional intellectual academic that only lives in the academic realm, academic realm, right? They are not true business owners, right? You see the same thing with Nouriel Roubini. He is just a tenured professor, right? Doesn't really have to deal with the real life pressures of what it is owning a business, or Nayib Bukele having to deal with essentially 23% of the Salvadorian economy, is based on remittances alone. Bitcoin actually solves the problem by saving the people of El Salvador millions of dollars a year alone. It's estimated that the El Salvadorian economy is up 24% this year alone, even after all the crazy FUD from the mainstream media articles. So again, right, this is reality hitting fantasy land, and Steve Hanke is not only a tyrant, he's an evil ass mother effer. Anyways, for those memes, those excellent memes, I'm gonna give it a Kinder Egg little stuffy thing. And
nice.
I love these Kinder chocolates. They really only sell them in Europe, but it's like a little chocolate egg, and you break them, there's a little toy inside. I like them.
They have them here.
They do? They do?
Yeah, they do. You just got to go to some specialty shops. It depends, right? Like in some places they'll have them like, it'll be normal, but in other places you have to go to like a store like World Market or something like that.
Gotcha.
Very good score though, man. Huh?
What would you give those memes, Phil?
Oh, okay, look, you know what? I have now I've had to go into like my other piles of junk, okay? And I am giving this a very fair score, okay? I hope this shows up right. This is a Reckless Lightning keychain. There, in front of my face it shows up correctly almost. See?
Ooh.
Yep.
Good score,
Reckless Lightning keychain.
Reckless Lightning keychain and a Kinder stuffed animal egg thing. some good memories from childhood. Anyways, guys, do you agree with our scores? Do you disagree? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, join our Telegram group and link us some Bitcoin memes to review, because it's a Bitcoin meme review and we need memes to review. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily News, sponsored by Cloaks.
All right, everybody. You know what the deal is. We've been covering this a lot on this show. There's a great battle happening before our eyes, right? And the battle is between freedom and slavery. When I mean slavery, I mean central bank digital currencies. When I mean freedom, I mean Bitcoin. And what is actually really interesting is that the battle for freedom is really winning in the countries that least benefit from the legacy financial system. So any country that's not the United States, the European Union, or China, right? So any country that's really not a main benefactor from the fiat money printer are going to be the first ones to open their arms towards Bitcoin, and it's actually the Western countries that are going to be hostile towards Bitcoin because they have a lot to lose from losing the power of the money printer, right? So let me take you guys on a journey. Let me pull up this tweet by Nayib Bukele, literally shooting shots across the bow, really calling what it is for what it is, right? And again, there's a lot of signal here. Let me point it out. The next world crisis is in front of us. Supply chain disruption. We've been covering this a lot. Here it is again. Keynesian economics won't work anymore. The world is too big now. It would work if we had infinite ports, ships, fuel, factory space, workers, and resources, but all those are finite. It's time to think of a new economic system. Some may say this is crazy, but how crazy is this? Countries will print trillions of more money, increase their debt ceilings 100 more times, and consume much more resources from a finite planet, and think we can get away with it. Again, firing shots across the bow, calling out the crazy Keynesian economics of... Phil?
Nico, I thought we were. I thought the Bitcoiners. I thought we were burning the world. He sounds like he wants to use Bitcoin and somehow, if I'm daring, he somehow thinks that he's going to help the world. That's not the narrative that they're selling.
It's crazy what happens when a politician takes the orange pill. And then all of a sudden, right, because think about it. Think about all the things that the fiat standard has caused. Products just keep getting cheaper and cheaper, right, to maintain the same fiat price, but the quality is cheaper, meaning they last less. They last less amount of time, meaning they have to produce more, meaning that there's even more waste. The quality of food goes down, right? There's shrinkflation. It's so many things, and he's just pointing it out. That Keynesian economics, this model of modern monetary theory, where you could just print more money to pay for everything, right? And essentially the ones that benefit from that the most are the Western countries, China, Europe, and the United States, but the rest of the world gets poorer. And here you have a sitting president of a country calling out the fiat scam for what it is. Now, I told you there's a war going on, and I told you that it's the West that are going to be the most hostile towards Bitcoin because they have the most to lose. Check out all these developments from the United States. Now, guys, I'm going to tie this in to how the United States is seeing Bitcoin as a threat. Why is it a threat? Because it is an escape valve from the fiat system. The fiat system needs you for it to function, right? So these politicians have been scrambling. First, I'd like to remind you guys, we covered this thoroughly when it was happening. The crypto tax provision in the infrastructure bill is potentially unworkable, but Treasury may say it doesn't matter. Check that out. It's unworkable for, the Bitcoin and shitcoin industry, but the Treasury, the U.S. Treasury, doesn't matter. And as Cynthia Loomis pointed out, right, she said, quote her, the Treasury got a jump on it. So what does that mean? What are the implications of that? Think about it. A non-elected official, Janet Yellen, that also used to be the head of the Fed, put a Bitcoin and shitcoin tax provision into the infrastructure bill at last second. Why? Because they want to get rid of that escape valve. This came out August 16, 2021. We also have, on another front, we have the head of the SEC. And check out these words, Phil. Again, lots of signal in the wording. SEC Gensler doesn't see cryptocurrencies lasting long. Regulator says history of wildcat banking in U.S. shows, here it is again, Phil, limited viability for private forms of money. Remember what I've been telling you guys about projection? What is more private? The obfuscated way how the Fed prints money, and we don't know. Remember, there's a huge movement about auditing the Fed. That never happens, right? So, how could they call Bitcoin a private form of money if it's publicly issued? The whole ledger is public for the world to see. So I would say that Fed money, state money, is much more private than Bitcoin. Just saying. Now, let me tie this in. So again, you have legislation being passed. You have the SEC being hostile. And now, guess what? Now the Justice Department is involved now. So it's the SEC, it's the legislative, it's the DOJ. And check this out. 2 new Justice Department enforcement initiatives aimed at targeting cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency exchanges want to be the banks of the future. No, they don't. The banks of the future is you taking self-custody of your Bitcoin and you running your own node. You are therefore your own bank, but they don't want you to know that. Well, we need to make sure that folks can have confidence when they're using these systems, and we need to be poised to root out abuse. Here it is again, Phil. The point is to protect consumers. No, it's not. It's to protect the system itself.
Didn't we just show that that UK bank was busted for actually, like, they spent £700 million preventing the exact fraud that they enabled? Anyways, and then of course the head of the IMF, right? Christine Lagarde's a convicted criminal. Yep. So it's like, are you kidding me?
It's projecting. They are projecting what it is they are themselves. Now check out this last piece of news that came out a couple days ago, right? Or maybe yesterday. White House weighs, again, this is on top of the SEC, this is on top of the DOJ, this is on top of the crypto tax provision, the infrastructure bill. Now they're going even harder. White House weighs wide-ranging push for crypto oversight. Check this out. Draft executive order, part of plan to coordinate agencies. So they want to coordinate, they want all the agencies in the federal government to coordinate to go after crypto. Why do they care so much? Because it is an escape valve out of the system. And this article shows a little bit of hints to that. Let me get to it. The Biden administration is weighing an executive order on cryptocurrencies as part of an effort to set up a government-wide approach to the white-hot asset class, according to people familiar with the matter. The proposed directive would charge federal agencies to study and offer recommendations on relevant areas of crypto, touching on financial regulation, economic innovation, and national security. Bullshit, 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 and bullshit. As El Salvador has proved in 30 days, more people in El Salvador have a Bitcoin wallet than a bank account without any regulation, any government bureaucrats, any of that garbage, right? They're trying to justify their reason to exist, and their reasoning is to protect the public. They use the same wording to pass the Patriot Act. The same wording. It's all to protect the public. But in reality, it's to empower the federal government. Said the people who asked not to be named, discussing plans that are still under consideration. Check this out, Phil. Officials have also considered appointing a White House crypto czar to act as a point person on the issue, one person said. The White House, of course, the White House declined to comment on the crypto initiative. The draft directive is part of an effort by the White House to craft a sweeping strategy for digital tokens, which have become here it is again, Phil, here's the signal, a growing concern for regulators as they've become wildly popular with average Americans. Let me read that again. A growing concern for regulators as they've become wildly popular with average Americans. Why have they become wildly popular with average Americans? Because they see inflation, because they know that the system is rigged, because they know that the stock market is rigged to benefit the big banks and the incumbents. They are terrified, and this is what they're doing. The DOJ, the SEC, legislation, but that's not enough. That's how scared they are. Now they want the White House to issue an executive order to have a combined front to go after the escape valve. Now here's the problem that they have. If you're in DeFi, they will be able to regulate it. If it's a stable coin, they will be able to regulate it because it's centralized. The only thing they will not be able to regulate is Bitcoin. And that scares the living crap out of them. We are winning, but prepare for war. And I don't mean kinetic war. I don't mean violence. I mean, they will become more totalitarian as it becomes obvious that a deflationary currency not only works, but is much more inclusive and financially beneficial to the public than their inflationary currency of fiat that steals from the poor, that steals from the middle class, and it redistributes that wealth to the state and to the top 1%. And it redistributes that to the state so that they can go to war and bomb the F out of people in other countries. Enough is enough. Take back the power. Take back your sovereignty. Take back your financial freedom. Opt out of their broken system and buy yourself some Bitcoin and take self-custody of it. Phil?
Bullish. I like it. I like it. So, look, that comment about how that the bill doesn't really matter, right? Like, and it's unworkable, right? That the Treasury pushed through, that you showed the article about. Look, they don't care that it's not workable because now it's there. Okay, so now they can go back and they can refine it and they can expand upon it and they can modify it and do all kinds of shit to it. Okay, so that's one piece of it. The other piece is this. I'm trying to remember, how long ago did they start referring to Bitcoin as a private blockchain? This is very interesting. I feel like we've only started to see this language in the last couple of months. I feel like this is what they're doing. And it's so, again, right? I feel so bad for the average person that isn't willing to have confidence in themselves to go and just do some research about this and see, wait a second, Bitcoin is public ledger. Bitcoin is censorship resistant public ledger backed by thermodynamic work, This is completely different than a privatized money, which all the governments use. All of it is privatized. Think about it. This is the most insane, weird, hypocritical type of messaging that I've ever heard. And it's so strange to see what we consider quote unquote intelligent people, right? Like, and they're sitting there pushing this narrative. You're like, come on. Do you really hold freedom, human freedom, in that much contempt that you're willing to sit there and lie about the crap that has made all of our lives, including their own, even though they think they've gotten richer, their lives have gotten crappier. They're still using the same shitty products that are made by fiat. All those products are still falling apart. It doesn't matter how rich you are, right? It still falls apart. It's still a piece of shit. It's still made of plastic, and it's getting made thinner and thinner and thinner. And the chocolate bars, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. They're putting less material in it. They're putting less ingredients in them. And the ingredients that they're putting in them are of lower quality. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or not. A Snickers bar is still just as shitty for you as it was. And now it's just gotten shittier because they've replaced the ingredients to make them fiat capable. So we are we are getting handed a total garbage bill of goods. And it's like you said, man, this is our opportunity. We can opt out. we can use Bitcoin to change things for the future.
Absolutely, man. And it goes to what you were saying, Phil. They are projecting what it is they are doing themselves. Bitcoin democratizes the creation of money. Anybody can create and earn Bitcoin. Anybody could plug in a miner and start earning some sats. Who are the only people that could create money and not go to jail for, what's it called? What's the word? Counterfeiting?
Counterfeiting. Yes.
The Fed. So what is more private? A currency that anybody could make as long as you pay for the electricity? Or a currency that only a non-elected appointed bureaucrat could create?
The Fed doesn't like competition, Nico. It likes to be the only counterfeiter around.
That's what it is. But guys, good news is that we are winning. If we weren't winning, they would not have this type of reaction. Prepare for battle. Take your Bitcoin off the exchange. And when we say prepare for battle, again, it's not violence. This is a peaceful revolution, okay? This is not a kinetic war. It's a peaceful revolution of everyone opting out of their system. But anyways, guys, we don't have time for a software release today. Went a little bit further. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. But before we go, buy your tickets to Bitcoin 2022. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference of the year. No, in fact, ever. It's going to be 4 days this year. The last day is going to be music and networking. Super cool. There's a link down below that gets you 10% off the tickets. Bitcoin 2022. Check out Cloaks for the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch. Get yourself a Bitcoin grenade or a Bitcoin honey badger, all 3D printed. Really cool stuff. Check the link down below for 5% off anything on the store, cryptocloaks.com. Check out Citadel 21 for the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's pure pleb signal written by plebs for plebs. Awesome stories, articles. Check it out. Get yourself a physical copy. There's only 1,000 made per volume. Citadel21.com. And of course, check out Pirate Hash for some awesome Bitcoin trinkets like this Bitcoin board game, this Bitcoin source poster. Super cool stuff. It's by the guy that did the UI for BISC, the decentralized peer-to-peer exchange. Check out piratehash.com. Guys, that was our show. If you enjoyed the weekend recap, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the catastrophic fails from the goddamn central bankers, the NFTs, all of the above, and the Bitcoin news from the plep perspective, definitely consider subscribing. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys, for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.
The central bankers don't welcome competition.